Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a puzzle I am really excited to try. It's had a flurry of recommendations over just the last 24 hours. It's called Unstable Seesaws, and it's by Kane Puzzles and Piatato. Now, Kane Puzzles, I did one of Kane Puzzles' puzzles only a few days ago. It's the pseudonym of Chan Erturan, who is one of the world's very best Sudoku solvers, and in my opinion, one of the world's very best Sudoku setters as well, even though Chan is only 17 years old, a phenom from Turkey, and an absolutely charming young man as well. So this is what we're going to be having a go at. Apparently, Chan started to set this puzzle, I want to say, in March 2022. I did look at the page on Logic Masters Germany, and it said something like in March 2022, Chan had the idea behind the break-in for this puzzle, and then asked Piatato to sort of help him to convert it into like a fully fledged puzzle, and the two of them have worked on it periodically since then. So goodness only knows how many hours have been devoted to this one. It's really a beautiful looking puzzle as well. I love these one cell whispers, and there's clearly something going on in these rows, but we're going to have to figure it out for ourselves. The rules are very short and very straightforward, so I will read you those in a moment or two's time. It's got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty on Logic Masters and a whopping 98% approval rating. So I think it's going to be good. Now, what do I want to tell you about before that? I'm going to start off by thanking Gus for sending me some footage I absolutely loved from a very important Scrabble tournament that is going on at the moment. I mean, if you've been watching Cracking the Cryptic for any amount of time, you will know that we're in love with intellectual feats of any kind. And if we're talking about intellectual feats in the realm of words, we should never forget Nigel Richards, the New Zealand Scrabble player, because he is a total phenomenon. I think 5 times he's won the World Scrabble Championship. Not content with that, he spent 9 weeks learning the French dictionary. Didn't speak French, just thought he would like to play in the French Scrabble tournament. So spent 9 weeks learning that dictionary and then won that tournament. And anyway, the litany of achievements of Nigel in the world of Scrabble is long, stark, and extraordinary. And yesterday, anyway, Gus sent me this amazing. Have I got? And I think I've got a little bit. Here we go. I don't know if that's going to fit on the screen, but anyway, Gus sent me this footage, and I will include the link to this footage under the video, of the end game in this game of Scrabble. It is absolutely extraordinary. I mean, literally extraordinary. I don't want to spoil it, but the word knowledge and the strategy and just everything that goes in to what happens at the end of this Scrabble game is so remarkable that I think many of you would enjoy it. In fact, I must remember tomorrow, because we're going to do a crossword video tomorrow for tomorrow's Times crossword, and I think I should plug this video in that video as well. Anyway, there we go. Nigel Richards, an extraordinary human being, and Gus, thank you very much for sending that to me. I did, as you suspected, I did really enjoy watching it. What else? Over on Patreon, I don't know, did I forget to do this yesterday? I can't remember if I did the league table renewal. But anyway, this is our August competition. A chance to win. I don't know if this is much of an opportunity, but some people do seem to enjoy it, and I enjoy it. A chance to solve a Sudoku with me, and we'll record it, and hopefully it will become a video on the channel. The Labours of Rostam is the theme this month. 7 puzzles themed on a Persian legend, and this was the state of play. We'd had 1356 solvers of the first puzzle and 322 of the final puzzle. So let's see how that's moved. Yeah, we're over 1,500 and 461. 461 of you have now solved the whole thing. That's terrific. Absolutely terrific solving. It's interesting, isn't it? Yes, Puzzle 2, I found Puzzle 2 quite tricky. So I'm not surprised that Puzzle 3 has moved slightly ahead of Puzzle 2 in terms of the number of solves. But yeah, fantastic work. And do get involved. It's over on Patreon right now. It's a couple of bucks to join us over there if you are not a patron already. What else? Let's do birthdays. Luke, it's your birthday today. And I know this because your friend and co-worker Sky wrote to us and told us that you find the videos calming and you enjoy watching the solve. So Luke, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today with, of course, a large slice of very heavily iced chocolate cake. And then we will go over to, I think, San Francisco, although I might be wrong about this, but I think there's a boy there who has a very excellent name, Simon. Simon, have you turned 9 today? I think you might have done. I think your mother Yao wrote to us, and Simon, if I'm not mistaken, you have been watching the channel. It's not just a recent thing, is it? You've been watching for a couple of years, I think. It's absolutely remarkable. And thank you for watching. And I think you're getting into the crossword videos as well now. I absolutely love hearing hearing if we've made any difference to young people getting into puzzles. It fills me with a sense of small achievement, which I relish. So Simon, I gather that you like chocolate cake and lemon cake. I hope you get both, and I hope that they are properly iced. And yeah, many happy returns of the day. That's all my news. Let's have a look at Unstable Seesaws. I love the name of this, Unstable Seesaws. There's not really a seesaw in the grid, but the name is evocative, and the rules are as follows. We're doing battle, by the way, with about 400 IQ points between Cane Puzzles and Piatato today, so it's quite daunting. Yeah, we've got normal Sudoku rules applying, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Digits in adjacent cells separated by a white dot differ by exactly 1. So those two cells differ by 1. So if that was a 7, this would either be 8 to be consecutive with it, or 6. That's how white dots work. No black dots today. Adjacent digits on a green line differ by 5 or more. So I was about to make this a 1. Let's make this a 9. If this was a 9, this has to be either 1, 2, 3, or 4. It couldn't be higher than 4, because it wouldn't then be sufficiently different from 9. It must be at least 5 different. And then the digits in a cage sum to the small number in the top left corner of the cage. So those 4 sum to 21. We don't need a rule today about digits not repeating in cages, because it is quite simply impossible, because of the rules of Sudoku, for any of these cages to have a repeated digit. They're all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I mean, it must be either this one, or both together, mustn't it? Are we using the secret to do something on these rows? I mean, I don't know is the answer, but I imagine it must be relevant, so I will tell you what the secret is. The secret of Sudoku, and it's something I share with only my very favourite people, but of course, if you're watching this video, if you've indulged me by listening to me rabbit on about things like Scrabble for 9 minutes, you're definitely one of my favourite people. And so I will tell you the Sudoku secret, and it is that any complete row of a Sudoku, because of the rules of Sudoku, this row contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. So we know the sum of this whole row, and it's 45. That's the triangular number for 9. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 is equal to 45. Which means that those cells are equal to 24, as are these. So those cells are equal to 48. As indeed Yeah, 20 and 22 average to 21, don't they? So those also average 48. Well, those sum to 48. They don't average 48, they actually are 48. I don't really know what to do with that. I think it must be something to do with the green lines. A green line, let's just establish two things about green lines very quickly. One, the most obvious secret about a green line is that you can't put 5 on it. Because if you put 5 on it, the digit that's adjacent to the 5 is supposed to be at least 5 different from 5. And there are no Sudoku digits that meet that criteria. So you can't put 5 on a green line. And what that means is that, well, each cell on the green line has the property of either being below 5 or above 5. And what you can't do is have 2 of the same sort of digits next to each other. Imagine this digit is below 5. This digit can't also be below 5 because it couldn't be 5 different. So this would have to be the other way. So that means that there are inbuilt differences between these two cells, and between these two cells. Now, what we can't do here is have... Imagine all 3 of these were all higher than 5, for example. 3, 2... Oh, actually, hang on, maybe that does work. So, oh, no, that does not. I was thinking, that's interesting. Right, I was thinking, is it possible for all these to be higher than 5? And I was only concentrating on row logic to consider that. And then I considered the same thing for these cells and reached the same conclusion. And then I realized that what I was talking was complete and utter cobblers. Absolute nonsense. But let me explain why it's nonsense. If you just look at this row, imagine this was, for example, I don't know if this is possible, but let's just put 6, 7 and 8 in there. So we're saying these are high digits. 6, 7 and 8 sum to 21. 21 and 21 is 42. So in theory, to make 45 for the row, we could have had a 1-2 pair here. And it would seem, at first blush at least, to work. Now what about this row then? Could that work? If these were very low digits, let's make them really low. 1, 2 and 3. 6. Actually that's a bit too low. We might have to increase that slightly. Which actually, it doesn't quite work. But it doesn't work for a much more fundamental reason. But let me try and explain this. If this was 6 and this is 21, that's 27. These would have to add up to 18, which is just impossible because 8 and 9 is 17. So we'd have to make one of those 4, and then you might say, that doesn't work because that would make one of these 9, and then that would put too much pressure on here. That's all true. It's all completely true, but it misses the point. It misses the point because actually the fundamental reason why these can't all be high and these all can't be low is that this row is meant to sum to the same thing as this row. So imagine, this is the way to think about it. So if these were all high and these were all low, what is the minimum difference between these 3 digits and these 3 digits? Well, we know that a high digit must be at least 5 greater than the digit below it. So that these would be at least 15 greater than these digits. And yet, in order for the whole equation of the 2 rows to marry up, these digits would have to deal with that 15 difference. Well, I'm telling you they can't because of the white dots. The maximum difference between those 2 cells is 1. And the maximum difference, well, when I say the maximum difference, the difference is 1. The difference between those 2 is 1. So actually, the maximum the maximum difference that the German whispers lines can ever deal with is 2, which feels that feels too small. How can we do that? Yeah, okay, hang on. So actually the trick here might not be the green line, it might be the white dots. I just need to think about this. Hang on. The difference between these is 1. And the difference between these is 1. Those two differences either go the same way or they go in opposite ways. So right, so if we view that string and that string together, either there's 2 possibilities. Either purple equals green, because this one, for example, might be top heavy, so let's say this was 5 and this was 4, and then this one might be 9 and this one might be 8. So if this one was bottom heavy, they would cancel out. So net those would this would equal this. That's one possibility. That is wrong. That is wrong. Because how, if we were in that situation, how would we achieve equality between these the differences that must exist on these whisper lines? Each whisper line, each of these dominoes has an inbuilt difference of at least 5 in one direction or the other. So you could have a 6 and a 1, for example, a 7 and a 2. But you can't have a 7 and a 4 because that breaks the rules of German whispers. So the inbuilt differences between each of these dominoes is 5 at least. And we're going to have to net those down to equal, well, if purple was equal to green, we'd have to net them down to 0. And you can't do that, because 2 of these are going to go in the same direction. By which I mean, let's imagine this was low and this was high. We can't have these all being high, because then the net difference is 15 between these 3 and these 3 at least. So one of these is going to be the other way round, and then this is going to be the tiebreaker. So this is either going to make this top side heavy or the bottom side heavy, depending on whether this is 6, 7, 8, 9 or this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we know how could we net these out to 0? We couldn't do it if purple and green were equal to one another, because then, let's say this was high, we know that these two differences are top heavy by at least 10, don't we? Because that's the difference of at least 5, that's a difference of at least 5, so this would have to have this would have to be 10 greater than this at least. It's impossible. It's actually going to be very difficult to do this anyway, because what we've been able to deduce now is that the green total is either 2 less or 2 greater than the purple total, i.e. both of these dots go in the same direction. They're either both of these are 1 greater or both of these are 1 greater. And that's going to mean green or purple is 2 greater than its friend. So let's say that purple is 2 greater than green. What would that mean? Well, that means if purple is 2 greater than green, then as far as these cells are concerned, this bottom bit must be 2 greater than this top bit. And that's not easy to achieve, is it? Because if this is 2 greater, this has got 2 heavy digits on it. So it's going to have 2 of 6. Oh, it's going to have 2 of 6, 7, 8, 9, and one low digit. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9. But we know that this is at least 5, that's at least 5, so those are at least 10 greater. Hang on, which is a net difference of 8. So these have to be 1. So this has to be 1 9 in that instance. Yeah, okay, I've got it. I've now understood it. It's not easy. It's really difficult. It's very, very difficult to explain, but I now think I understand how this works. So let's just recapitulate the logic to make sure we're all on the same page. We have concluded that green or purple is 2 greater than the other of green or purple. And I just hypothesized that purple was the high. I don't know which is the high. I still don't know. But if purple is higher than green by 2, then for these digits, these 3 are 2 greater than these 3, in order that the rows both add up to the same number, 45, although that's a bit irrelevant. Now, we know that the minimum difference between these 2 high digits that I'm popping on the bottom is 10, don't we? Because that's at least 5 and that's at least 5. So the minimum difference here is 10. So the minimum amount at this point by which green is greater than purple is 8. It might be more than 8 if the difference between these two was, say, 7. Then you can't keep this difference down to only 10. But the minimum difference is 10 here, offsetting the 2 difference between the purple being greater than the green. And that means that this has to deal with at least 8 of difference. How can it do that? It's going to have to be a 1 and a 9. So how I don't know how this is going to resolve in terms of actually numbers, but what I'm now able to tell you is that the 3 differences for each of these dominoes, one of them is a 1 9, definitely, and 2 of them have a difference of 5. Okay, well, I see. Right, so because we know one of them is a 1 9, we know that the one is on the bottom because of this. So one of these is a 1 and one of these is a 9. And yeah, okay, the 1 9, remember, is going in the opposite direction to the 2 differences of 5 that we need. So this is beautiful. This is beautiful logic, because now because the 1 9 is going in the opposite direction to the I need 2 high digits on the bottom here. So they're going to be so there's a 1 on the bottom and a 6, 7, 8 or 9. It's not a 6. It's not a 6 on the bottom because the 2 high digits have a difference of exactly 5 with their low digit equivalent, in order that we get 2 5 differences to offset our 8 difference between the 1 and the 9. So we can't put 6 here because we'd have to put 1 above it. So if there was a 7 here, there would be a 2 here. If there was an 8, there would be a 3. If there was a 9, there would be a 4. So this is the possible, or these are the possible configurations now. This one is not, oh, hang on. I was trying to say this one is not the 1 9 because of the 1 here. So so that's not 9, this isn't 1. So that there might be a 9 1 there or there. And okay, somewhat distressing. 3 in this row is in green. Yeah, okay, so let's try and do maths then. Let's try and maths this out. So if... I don't think 2 can be in this cage now. Might be wrong about that, but I think that seems logical. There is a 3 in it by Sudoku in row 4. If there was also a 2 in this cage, the 3 and the 2 would add to 5, and that would mean the other 2 digits would have to add up to 16, and they would have to be 7, 9. That will not work because it takes too many high digits away from these. I know 2 of these are high and neither is 6. So if I took 7 and 9 away, I'd only have 1 high digit, which is 8, which can't be right. So 2 is on a dot, is what we've just deduced. But which way round do the dots go? Because that means there's either a 1 or a 3 here, but I haven't worked out which. But I think we can work out which, because we know that in these cells, yeah, this is net heavy, isn't it? This is 2 high digits, which are 5 different from their equivalent low digits, so 10 different, versus an 8 difference in the other direction. So the net effect of this, those 6 digits, from these 6 digits here, result in this being 2 higher than this, which means this must be 2 higher than this, which means that, this is so beautiful. It's just ridiculous. So now I know there's a 3 in one of those, and I know it's not above the 3 that's given in the grid. This is one of the most beautiful beginnings to a puzzle you will ever see in your life. It's oh, now look, now there is no 3 here, so there is no 8 here. It's still giving these amazing thingies. Well, and now I can do maths. I can get this digit just by adding up the row. I've got 17, 19, so 21. So I'm on 40 for those digits, so that's got to be a 5 to make the row add up, and we know this is higher because we know that this domino is 2 higher than this domino. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, these squares are 1, 5, 7, 8, I'm going to claim, and 1, 5, 7 and 8 are beautiful because they do add up to 21, which suggests that we have got the calculation correctly. 3, 4, 6, 8 here. Let's check this one. 14 and 7 is 21 again. So again, it looks okay. That's definitely not a 3. And oh, I tell you, this is why it's called the seesaws, isn't it? Because we sort of had to rock back and forward by thinking about these. Each of these are seesaws, sort of going up and down to deal with creating the equality that we needed. So I suspect we're going to have to look at these ones now, but just let me think about that. Yeah, we probably do. There's a 3 on the seesaw here. Well, it's a bit different though, isn't it? Because these aren't the same. So, let's get rid of my green and purple and let's try and reinstitute it down here and think about what it means. So in this situation, we know that this is slightly heavier than this by 2. 22 is 2 greater than 20. Knowledge bomb. Now, we know that the net difference between these two, it's either going to be too heavy in one direction or the other, or it's going to be exactly, so just looking at these 4 cells and their effect on the balance between row 6 and row 7, if these were in opposite directions, the effect of that would be that those 6 digits were overall 2 higher than these 6 digits. So these digits would have to be overall 2 higher than those digits to correct the count. And one of those is a 3. And these would have to be net higher, so we're going to have to go... So there would have to be 2 high digits there, which would have to be 6 and 8. And then these would have 2 low digits and 1 high digit. Does that work? The answer might be yes or no. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Or maybe... Maybe it does have to be that, because if it's not that, how would it work? Well, one way it doesn't work is for if both of these 2 cells are higher than both of these, then those digits and those digits have the same sum, which means these 3 and these 3 have the same sum, and that's impossible. We looked at that before. Because the net difference between each seesaw is at least 5, you can't do it, because you're going to have 2 in one direction, which is going to be a net difference of 10 you can't compensate for with the other seesaw. So either this is one in either direction for a net 2 difference here, which is going to be offset by a net 2 difference in favour of these 3. I'm just slightly worried that we can't get the sufficient difference with the 1 and the 9 here. Let me just think this through. If this was 3, 6, 8, and we want this to be 2 greater overall than these, and we're going to have at least 10 difference between the 6 and the 8 and whatever the low differences there are. But if the 3 went with a 9, that would be a difference of... Yes, okay, it's complicated, because we don't have to have 5 differences between the 6 and the 8 and their low difference. The 6 difference would have to be with a 1, because 6 is monogamous. But the 8 difference could be higher. Although, do I want it to be? Oh, I'm confusing myself here. This is really confusing. I'm going to try and think about it the other way around. What would happen if both of these were higher than both of these? Then we would have a net 4 difference to cater for. Hang on. Sorry, I'm being very slow here and very dense. I know I am, and I feel embarrassed. I just need to think this through. It's really weird, because I keep wanting to think about individual digits on the seesaws, but actually I think it's more sensible to think about the sort of fact that each seesaw has an inbuilt difference of at least 5, if you see what I mean. But we can't create any more 8 differences on these seesaws, because 1 and 9 can't go in any of those cells, because 1 and 9 have been used up here. So the maximum difference on any of these seesaws is 7, and the minimum difference is 5. So how could you create... Yeah, okay, so how could you create the same effect that we had here, which was a net 2 difference? You can't do it. Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm being a bit slow, aren't I? But I think I now have concluded something useful. Because the net positives, if you like, the two that are heavy, if we're trying to achieve overall a net 2 difference in favour of these 3 digits to correct the count, then the 2 heavy digits would be at least 10 greater than their equivalent below that. They could be more than 10, but they're at least 10. And that means we do need at least an 8 difference on this other one, which we could do if we could do 1 9, but we can't do 1 9, so it's impossible to do it. And obviously if the difference in favour of the 2 heavy digits was more than 10, let's say it was 11, then you'd have to achieve even more here. This would have to be a 9 difference, which it definitely can't be. So, right, I'm getting there. So actually, I've now disproved that this is either... It's not 1 in each direction, and it's not equalising the difference. So it is 2 great. Actually, these 2 are greater than these 2. And we're in a situation by the time we get to this cell of row 7, these are 4 greater overall than these. So these are 4 greater than those. Well, the only way we can achieve that is with high digits. So this is 3, 6, 8. And somehow or other, and this is going to be our next challenge, we have to achieve a 4 difference in favour of these top digits. So these are 4 greater than those. What colour should we have there? We'll have this colour. Now the 6 is definitely going to go with a 1, isn't it? So that can't be but that's just Whisper's logic. 6 has only 1 Sudoku digit that is 5 different from it, at least, and that is the digit 1. So one of the differences is 5. But then the 3 is going to go with an 8 or a 9 beneath it, isn't it? So that's either a difference of 5 or 6. And then the 8 is going to go with 2 or 3 beneath it. And I think it will work, won't it? So we can. So by the time the 6 has gone through, let's just put the 6. Oh, hang on, we know. Hang on, I do actually know where the 6 goes, because that can't be 1 6, and this 6 means that can't be 1 6. So we can do the 6, and now I can do more things above here. So this is 1, and we know 1 goes with 9 up here. Okay, all right, here we go. Here we go. Come on, brain. Just use yourself. So now where are we? We were at a point here where this was 4 greater, but now this is 5 greater. So the net effect is by this point, by column 7 of these two rows, we're at 1 greater in favour of the top one, actually. So these have to differ by 1 from each other. So if this was 8, 3, this would have to be 3, 9. And if this was 8, 2, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Because if there's a 2 on the bottom, then the net difference you've then achieved, because if there's an 8 on the top and a 2 on the bottom, you've got a 6 difference plus a 1 difference, which is a 7 difference. But 3 cannot be sufficiently different from 8 or 9 to be a 7 difference. So we're actually looking at 8 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Sorry, 3. Hang on. Now I've lost my train of thought. No, 8 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and 3 on the top, 9 on the bottom. And that should correct the count, I think. So we should find now that these cells are exactly 4 greater than these. So we've got 13 there, and we've got 17 there. So it's working. It's working. It's logical. Now, and, well, oh, sorry, it was a bit windy today and my door has just slammed. Now, can we do, well, yes we can, because now this is 9, so this is 3 by Sudoku, so this is 8, and this is 3 by Sudoku, so there's a 3 up here. There's a 9 here by Sudoku. This is sort of working, isn't it? 9, 4, 2, 7. We've got lots of 9s now. 6 goes here by Sudoku. There's some 6s up there. You can't put 6 on this little German whisper here, because 6 and 1 are natural partners. So if I put 6 there, this is a 1. And if I put 6 there, this is a 1, and that's going to break with that given digit. So we've got a 6 here, no 6 there. I suspect what we might be able to do is to work on the purples now as well. So we've got 23, no, not 23, what nonsense, that's 17, and 20 is 37, so these add up to 8. Well, then, okay, they're not 2, 6 or 3, 5. So those are a 1, 7 pair. And we worked out before that the bottom was greater, didn't we? So this is a 2, 8 pair. And we know the order. Of course we know the order. This is a puzzle by Piatato and Chan. It all works. So now we know these digits, which are 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. Which do add up to 22, so that all seems sensible. And these are 2, 4, 5, 9, and they add up to 20. They do. Right, this digit is not 2 or 5 by Sudoku. Now, where do we look next? What about those digits? They're 2, 4, 5. That's not 2. That's not 4 bobbins. No, what I was about to say is nonsense, so we're going to refrain from saying nonsense. 3, 5, 7, 8. 3, 5. 7 is down there. That's a bit of a desperate pencil mark, isn't it? 3, can that be 3? Oh, it can be. This could be lots of high digits. In fact, it's more difficult for this to be a low digit. It would have to be a 4 with a 9, which would give us this digit if that was the case. What do we need in column 9, actually? Oh, 4, 5, 8 to finish that off. Yes. Oh, hang on. Oh, there's a 3, 8 pair here in box 3. 3 and 8, where do they go in box 3? They have to go there. So these digits are 5 and 7. That's not 5. So this digit at the bottom is a 2 or a 4, which might be resolved. Oh, botheration. I'm not sure where to look now, actually. Maybe this column? 4, 7, 8, 9. Is it worth a pencil mark, do you think? The thing is, I can't really eliminate much from that. That's on a white dot. Let's put the white dot thingy in. Now, is this... If this was 4, this would have to be 5. Because it couldn't be 3. So this is either 5 or a very high digit, because it can't be 6. And so if this is 7, 8, 9, this would also have to be 7, 8, 9. which is, I don't know, I think that's okay. I'm not really sure where to look, actually. If we... I'm sorry, I'm just not seeing it. I know there'll be something elegant and beautiful. And or there'll just be Sudoku. That's a 2 by Sudoku. Of course, that's the other alternative. So does that 2 do... Oh yes, that 2 does do something. That's putting 2 on this whisper thing at the top. Now, that is interesting. Yes, actually, that is beautiful. It's exactly what I was expecting. It's beautiful once you see it. Can this be a 2? I'm going to claim no, because of a combination of factors. If this is 2, what are both of these digits by our German whispers logic? They're high, aren't they? And they're not 6, because 6 has gone in the box. So they're 7, 8, 9. But now what's this digit? The answer is I haven't got a clue, but I know it's high as well, because it can't be 6. And that's a 7, 8, 9 triple. And what does that mean these 3 cells are? Well, they're not 7 and 8, so they only have the ability to be 1 and 5, and yet there are 3 different digits to place. It cannot work. So I think we've got to put the 2 in the corner, which it feels like it's worth a song. It doesn't get one. This is a 1 or a 3 in order to be consecutive with 2. My door's going to slam again. Okay, but now we do know the polarity of this whisper. So this is 7, 8 or 9. This is low. 1, 3 or 4. I'm sure we can do better than that. Let's just think about it. It looks very difficult for this to be... If this is 7, 8, 9, then we've got a triple, haven't we, in the row? Oh, no, something a bit easier. Where's 3 in this box? And the answer, as so often, is I don't know where it is, except it's in one of 3 places. So that's going to give me a 3 here and an 8 here, which nearly places 8. Oh, where's 4 in the top row? I keep asking questions and I don't know the answer to them, but I know them. I know very approximately. 4 seems to be in that domino, doesn't it? So that means 4 is in, well, it's in one of 2 places actually. If it was here, this would be a 9. Which might be okay. 3, 4. It's probably Sudoku, isn't it? Let's... Oh. Yeah, in fact, maybe if I'd been more diligent before, it would have shown me things. This digit now is mildly restricted. It's 4, 7 or 9, I think. But it's not 4, we just said that, because 4's up here in row 1. So actually, this digit is 7 or 9. 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay, now down here, these are 4, 7, 9. 8, where's 8 in this column? Golly, that's a weird point, but it's true, isn't it? Oh, I see, yeah, look, if I'd just been more diligent about my Sudoku, I'd have realised 8 was in one of these. 8 here means this is an 8. So this is 7, that's a 7-9 pair that's emerged out of nowhere. This digit is 1 or 5. That now has to be the 4 in the top row. This digit is 1 or 5. This digit is not 8 anymore, so there's a 7-9 pair. This digit is 5, this digit is 7, this is 7, this is 9, and we're almost going to award ourselves the mantle of cooking with gas here. This is 9, that doesn't mean this can't be a 4, it probably is a 4. Now, what does all this mean? Well, if that's 4, that's 9. Is that possible? Maybe. If this is 7, this is 1. It can't be 2. So this is never 3. 3 is impossible, so that's 3. So 3 is in one of those 3 digits. This digit is not 4 or 7, so this is 5 or 6. 4 and 7 are in this part of the orange cage. Oh, nearly. Now, hang on, what about this column then? 2, 5, 7, I think. I was going to say that, but 7 over here, but I just deduced that a different way. Okay, let's try 4. These are 4, 6, 8, 9. It's going to be some little trick. This is not 4 or 8. This one is only 6 or 9. 1, 5, 6, 9 in the column. And that's not 6, look. It's got a bit Sudoku-y, this Sudoku puzzle. That digit, can that be 4? That would have to be 5. No. There is definitely a 5 in one of those cells, so that cannot be 4, because this can't be 3 or 5. So now, I thought that was going to do something. Now 4 is definitely in one of those 2 cells, but I've now realised I'd already known that if I thought about it. This digit, it can't be 5, we've worked that out, because there is a 5 here. So it's got to be another high digit. It's 6, 7, 8 or 9. And it's not 6. So this is 7, 8 or 9. Sorry, I know I stopped talking. I thought that was going to yield a profitable result. It's probably that green line that we have to focus on. I'm steadfastly ignoring it. Oh, I don't know. That's not a 2. That's not a 9. That's not a 6. Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be something Sudoku-y, couldn't it? Well, yes, that's true. It could be. Here, okay, here is something that is probably worth noting. That domino has to include a low digit, i.e. a 1, 2, 3 or 4. Now it doesn't include a 4 because I've got 4 pencil marked into there. So there is a 1, 2, well, there's a 1 or a 3 actually in this domino because it can't have 2 on it. So that leaves, that's a floating 1, 3 pair in column 1. So this definitely can't be a 1. This definitely can't be a 3. Now, does that do more than that though? You sort of feel like I feel like I want it to do more than that. Oh, all right, yeah. Where's 1 in box 4? It can't go there because of this floating 1, 3 pair, so it goes there. Which means this is not a 1. How can that digit do nothing? That's rotten. That's really mean. I don't know, is the terrifying answer. Okay, so what have we got then? So in this row now, this is a massive digit. That is forced. That's got to be 6, 7, 8 or 9. But it doesn't look like it's useful to know that. Sorry, a brief interruption there. I had to It's school holidays at the moment, and I had to go and look at aquarium merch. So I've looked at the aquarium merch. I haven't been away that long. I'm back again. Hopefully I will be able to remember roughly where we were up to. I've obviously done something here. Oh yes, that's just labelling this row, isn't it? So that's probably not going to be the most brilliant thing we've ever done in our lives. One can't go there, I can see. That's just Sudoku. And I mean, I suspect I have to look at this, but let's just have a quick check. And what about that digit? What could that digit be? 1, 3, 4, 5. And in fact, it can be all of those things. So that's not probably the place we look. All right, let's try this then. So what do we know about this? We know that if that is low, it is a 1. Because it can't be 2 or 3. Which is possibly fine. If it was 1, no, that's not fine. No, that's not fine at all. Okay, it's that simple. This digit here on the dog leg of the green thingy can't be low, because if it's low, we've got to decide what it is. Now, I've got 4 pencil marked here, 3 looking at it, 2 looking at it, so it is 1. But what's this digit? This digit can't be 6, it can't be 7 from my pencil mark, so it is 8 or 9, but it's not 9 because of this, so it's 8. But what on earth do we put into this cell now? It can't be 7 and it can't be 9, yet it has to be consecutive with 8, so it's not, that's wrong. So this digit is not low, it's high. It's not 6 because that's going to, well, for Sudoku reasons. So this is, oh, it's not 7 because there's a 7 in here. So this is 8 or 9. And these squares are low now. This is a naked single. It's not 1, it's not 3, it's not 4. So that's got to be 2. This has got to be consecutive with 2, and it isn't 1. So that's 3. No 3 in the corner. In fact, no, that scuppers any chance of any 3s in the corner. That's 4. So this isn't 4. This isn't 4. This isn't 4. And this is a 5 now, actually, because of the 2 there. So now we can take 5s out of places. We can take 3 out of here. So we're left with 6, 7 and 8 in column 2. And this digit is 1 or... oh, this digit's a 1. It can't be a 4 again, because there's a 4 in the orange cells. So that's a 3. The door's going to slam again, but hopefully it won't result in any aquarium merch being needed to be watched again. Hang on. Right, this is a 1, so that's a 9 by the looks of things. That's a 4, that must be good. Yeah, that's a 9, that's a 2. Okay, so I mean, actually the interruption hasn't really... it's not stalled me out too much, has it? I think we're still in the game. There's a 1. Yeah, look, 1 in this box. I don't know where it's... well, I do know where it goes. It goes there, in fact. So this is a 5. That's a 1. That must be a 1. That 5 means this is a 6. Which means that's a 9. So this is a 6-8 pair. That's got to be an odd number, and it can't be 9 now. So that's got to be 7. So this isn't 7, this isn't 7, this isn't 7. There's a 6-8 pair here, so that's a 4, which means that's a 3. So the 4 in orange now is placed. And, okay, we must be getting there a bit, I think, now. That can't be a 2. How do we finish this off? 6-8 means this is 5. So this is a 6-7 pair. In this box we need 5, 8, 9. So let's put that in. The only place for 9 in the column is now here. So that's 8, that's 5. We're slowly but steadily catchy monkey, aren't we here? 5, 7. This is not 8. That sees that one, so that's a 6. That's an 8. That's an 8. That's a 6. That's a 7. That seems to be 8. That seems to be 5. So that's 7. That's 6. And all we've got to do now is figure out this bottom part. Well, that's a 2, 4, 7 triple, so we've got 8 in the corner. Oh, this looks a bit deadly. Have I messed this up? Ah, no, I haven't. Because, of course, I can use the green dot. Thank goodness for that. This couldn't be 7, because 7 and 9 are too close. So 5 goes here, 2, 4, 5 there, 7 here, 4 here, 2 here, and that is one of the most brilliant puzzles you will ever see in your life. The break-in, I think these are meant to be the unstable seesaws. That is extraordinary. It's quite hard to articulate, even once you see what's going on, to actually articulate clearly how it works is, well, I struggled to do it a bit. Hopefully I did it well enough that I got the ideas across. It is quite gorgeous. I love the fact there are 2 different versions of the seesaws as well, and the use of the white dots is exquisite to create the sort of imbalances, or indeed the balances, necessary for the green seesaws. That is one of the most lovely break-ins I've ever seen in Sudoku. Piatato, Chan, take a bow, my friends. Loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.